Okay, this is now live on YouTube. For the record, this is State of Georgia versus Shelby St. Clair. Miss St. Clair is charging warrant number 2022 CW 51085 with committing the offense of aggravated battery. Miss St. Clair is here present. She's being represented by attorney Rhonda Hill, who is also present, and the state is being represented by attorney Cheryl Freeman. Ms. Freeman, would you swear in your witness and present your case?
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Moore, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about provide in the case of State of Georgia versus Shelby St. Clair will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You can lower your hand. Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
I'm Detective Tracy Moore. I'm with the Clayton County Police Department. I'm currently assigned as a detective in major felony, in CID and major felony. I've been with the department for over 8 years. I've been in CID for over 4 years, and I am post-certified.
Thank you. Detective, working with the Clayton County Police Department, were you assigned a case to investigate incident that occurred at the Chevron Food Mart at 7264 Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Is that address located in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And how did you come about this investigation?
I was assigned it after the fact. The initial reporting officer, I guess the victim advised the last name of a suspect or offender, whatever you want to call her, Miss St. Clair, as Sinclair and not St. Clair. So they were not able to find her and locate her and take out warrants at that time.
Detective, was this for regarding an incident that allegedly occurred on November 2nd of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you speak of the alleged victim, is that Miss Rose Bates?
Yes, ma'am.
What did Miss Bates indicate that happened on that date?
She advised she had gone to the Chevron to play the video games. She had gone out and was seated in her car when she observed Miss St. Clair go into the location. And as she got out to go back into the location, Miss St. Clair was coming out. She indicated that Miss St. Clair struck her. And then after that, a fight ensued. They were exchanging words that St. Clair advised. I'm gonna say it more nicely than what she stated. St. Clair said it, but I'm sleeping with your man. And there was all a fight over Miss Bates' boyfriend, living boyfriend. She advised that they began fighting, and at some point during the fight, her hand became broken. She did go to the hospital. She was transported to the hospital that evening. And she, like I said, gave the name, I guess, of Sinclair instead of St. Clair. So it was later that I was assigned the case to try to finish out the case, and I was able to learn her name is St. Clair instead of Sinclair.
Detective, were you able to determine what injuries Miss Bates sustained?
Yes, ma'am. I obtained the medical records from Southern Regional Medical Center. Is it okay if I look at my summary to tell you what the exact diagnosis was?
If you would need that to refresh your recollection.
It was basically, they called it displaced fractures of the proximal phalanx of the left ring and little fingers. So in other words, she had displaced fractures in her left hand of her ring finger and her pinky finger. And Miss Bates advised to this day she's not able to bend those fingers correctly.
Was there any video surveillance at this food mart?
Yes, ma'am. The officer was able to obtain the video surveillance, and in watching the video surveillance, it lines up exactly with what Miss Bates stated, that you could see her come out and sit in her minivan. You could see so the person that comes in has the same physical characteristics and hair color as Miss St. Clair. The video is not clear enough for me to say it's Miss St. Clair by looking at her face, but it is the same physical characteristics and hair color. And then Miss Bates did identify her, but you can see as Miss St. Clair comes out of the store and Miss Bates is headed back toward the store. Miss St. Clair just throws a punch at Miss Bates' face. It looks like they exchanged words. There's no video. I mean, there's no audio. It's just video. Looks like they're exchanging words. And then Miss St. Clair it appears that she grabs Bates by the throat, and she definitely has a hold of her ponytail and pushes her to the ground and is like swinging her around with her ponytail. She gets back up, she re-engages in the fight, and they continue to fight, and she goes down again. So from on the video, it's clear that Miss St. Clair initiated the physical contact.
Did this happen in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am, it did.
No further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Hill?
Thank you. Detective Moore, so you said you were not the responding officer. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But you did watch the video.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said at some point the victim, Miss Yes, Miss Bates. You said she fell down and then she got back up and re-engaged.
She did not fall down. She was put down, and then she did get back up and re-engage, and she was put down again by.
How many times did she re-engage?
I haven't watched that video in a while, ma'am, so I couldn't. I would say at least twice. It could have been 3 times, but I believe it was 2 times. But I'm not watching that video right now to tell you.
Okay. Did she make any other statements that you can recall, Ms. Bates, regarding this incident?
I did meet with her later and get a written statement from her. And she basically advised the same thing and advised of her injuries. And then she also was shown a GCIC photo of Miss St. Clair. And she said 100%, this is somebody that was known to her before. She said that's 100% the person who did this to me.
Okay. All right. And so, okay. All right. So no further questions for you, Detective Moore.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
Okay. May Detective Moore be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Detective Moore, you can be released or you can stay at your choosing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Ms. Hill, do you intend to call any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I am assuming the state is going to waive opening.
That's correct. Yes, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Hill.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that the court dismiss the charge of aggravated battery, or at least reduce this down to a battery. According to Detective Moore's statements, the alleged victim, she engaged in the fight as well, and there was no testimony as to causation. As the detective said, she said somehow during the fight her fingers got broken, but she was also actively engaged in the fight as well. Although it appears by the testimony, if it's taken to be true, that Ms. St. Clair may have initiated the physical altercation, clearly the victim was engaging as well. They both argued with one another at the store prior to the fight, and they both actively engaged. As she said, once she was down, she could have stayed down or she could have walked away, but she got up and re-engaged in the fight. The victim did several times. And so that she could have injured her hand trying to strike Ms. St. Clair on several occasions that she attempted to re-engage. And there was no testimony as to what actually caused her fingers to break. So with that, Your Honor, I ask that the charges be either reduced to battery or the aggravated battery is dismissed.
Ms. Freeman.
Thank you, Judge. Given the testimony of Detective Moore, there was no, engaging of the fight by Ms. Bates. The testimony was that Ms. St. Clair was the aggressor during the entire time. She went after Ms. Bates. The video surveillance showed this, and based on Ms. St. Clair's actions, it left Ms. Bates with the fracture in her left hand, to which she still is unable to bend those fingers to this day. This happened at the Chevron Food Mart over what appeared to be the boyfriend of Ms. Bates. We're asking that, given the testimony to take more, that this one charge of aggravated battery is bound over to Superior Court.
Okay, I'm going to find that the evidence is sufficient to bind this case over to the Superior Court of Clayton County. I'm relying upon testimony that Ms. Bates received an injury to her fingers and that she's unable to bend her fingers, and I would believe that that would support the aggravated battery charge. And in addition to the testimony that Ms. St. Clair is alleged to have been the initial aggressor, and the fact that Ms. Bates may have re-engaged in the fight does not negate the fact that Ms. St. Clair was alleged to be the initial aggressor. So that's going to be the order of the court. This case will be transferred to Superior Court of Clayton County.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Detective Moore, you can be excused. Ms. St. Clair can go back to her housing unit. I'm going to place, where's Mr. Kraft? I'm going to place you back into the jail breakout room. I know Mr. Schoolcraft, got to get in there. Mr. Rogers, you also wanted to go back to the breakout room. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. With the jail, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do that.
Well, Judge, if you could, I don't know if Ms. Freeman is speaking to anybody at the moment. If I could be in a breakout room with her and then go back to the jail.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Sir.
That's fine, Judge.
All right. So I'm gonna move you, Mr. Kraft, to room 1. Mr. Rogers, you're already in breakout room 2. So you can go there. Mr. Kraft, I'm going to get to you. Mr. Kraft, you made a notation, I think, that there was maybe one case that was gonna be resolved, the Alexander case that we've continued. What was the case that you believed you're gonna be resolved, and then there were 2 that you need to speak to your clients about?
Yes, Judge.
I'm sorry. I thought he said Mr. Kraft. He said Mr. Schoolcraft. Sorry.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. You should be able to click on the link, Mr. Kraft, to get back into the jail. I'm sorry, Ms. Freeman. Go ahead, Mr. Schoolcraft.
Yeah, Judge, I have 2, Nicholas Hill and Beverly Martin. I believe there'll probably be waivers, but I have to talk to them first.
Okay. So Hill and Martin. Okay. All right. As soon as Mr. Rogers is out, I'm going to place you in. Mr. Kraft is now meeting with Ms. Freeman.
Also, Judge, I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I'm supposed to be in Judge Amero's courtroom at 1:30 today. I don't
No,
think it'll be an issue, but
yeah, I was going to say if we're still going on at 1:30, I am doing something horribly wrong.
well, I have to drive there too, Judge.
Okay. Well,
I would need to be on my way by about 1 o'clock.
Well, I don't anticipate being in this posture.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Judge.
Yes.
I just figured I'd mention it.
Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Mr. Rogers, are you going into the jail?
Well, I was in the breakout room, but I was just in there by myself. So,
Over at the jail, can we please hit the link for the breakout room?